Superman punch! Spear on the King Corbin! Reigns wrist shackles! Absolutely ruthless. Showering Reigns in dog food.
Whether it's with a table, a ladder, or a chair, at TLC, I'm gonna embarrass him.
A TLC match where anything goes.
WWE TLC pay-per-view, streaming live on WWE Network. Tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers. Our story begins on the eve of the year's most magical occasion. Wait, where are we going? I wasn't done. The house was that way. Hello?
This holiday,
Who is that speaking?
believe in the magic
Oh my God. Quick, everyone, take shelter.
of TLC.
Merry Christmas! Superman punch! Spear on the King Corbin! Reigns wrist shackles! Absolutely ruthless. Showering Reigns in dog food.
Whether it's with a table, a ladder, or a chair, at TLC, I'm gonna embarrass him.
A TLC match where anything goes.
WWE TLC pay-per-view, streaming live on WWE Network. Tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers. Our story begins on the eve of the year's most magical occasion. Wait, where are we going? I wasn't done. The house was that way. Hello?
This holiday,
Who is that speaking?
believe in the magic
Oh my God. Quick, everyone, take shelter.
of TLC.
And now, WWE Network presents Tables, Ladders, and Chairs Kickoff.
Who is ready for some tables, ladders, and chairs? It's the final pay-per-view stop of 2019. We've come to the Target Center in a very cold downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. The WWE Universe continues to file in on a night where pretty much anything goes. Creativity and intensity meet in the middle. Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome to the TLC Kickoff Show. I am the coach. Over the course of the next 60 minutes, we're going to get set for a night that is sure to set the stage for whatever could happen in early 2020. Let's get to know our panel. To my immediate left, the lovely and incredibly talented Charlie Caruso. Hello, Charlie.
Coach, thank you so much. I mean, it is crazy to believe this is the last pay-per-view of 2019, of the decade. I am ready to roll into this new year on a high note, and Coach, I think tonight will set the stage to do just that.
All right, and to your immediate left, I wrote this down to make sure I got it correct.
Okay, this better be good.
Harvard educated, the greatest dressed man in the WWE. No offense.
Wow.
You heard it. You heard it.
And an interviewer extraordinaire.
Thank you. A little short, but I'll take it. What about my beard line? Because I know who's coming up next.
It's tight.
That's
it is
right.
tight. David Otunga, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you for having me, man. It's cold outside, but it's going to get hot in here tonight. I'm going to tell you that.
By the way, overnight, it's going to be below zero tonight in Minneapolis. Why did we come here? Because Booker T, two-time WWE Hall of Famer, we got business tonight.
You know, David's talking about his beard line because I hooked him up with some product. Hey, but this is TLC. This is the night of all nights that it's going to be on. But before we even get started on that, where's my camera at? Which one? Right here. Hey, guys, I know you're checking out the beard, checking out the shine, checking out the gloss. You want to know more? Go to moreunique.com. Use promo code Booker. Let's kick this thing off, man. Hey, I know you need some. So, hey, I'm your guy, but let's get crunk. Let's get crunk.
Get
You guys
crunk.
excited?
I'm excited.
Man,
You
yeah.
just got me even more excited.
Come on,
All right,
guys. Are
let's
you
get it going.
excited?
Charlie.
Are you excited?
Look at this.
Where you at? Man,
Wow.
you better get your piece of the action. Your champagne wishes,
You
your
know-
caviar dreams.
You know what they say. You feel pretty good when you got that Fox money,
Trying
right,
to get
Booker?
my TV time.
I mean, look at the man. Look at the man.
I mean,
look at his beard.
I am looking good.
He's got me looking
I
right.
am looking good.
Yeah, you looking good.
I'm gonna
Looking
hook
good.
you up. Well, I got even something for that little whatever you got going on right there.
You should have heard David Otunga. He was trying to think of a product of his own that he could start promoting after,
Well,
you're
I mean,
over
I'm
here
going
with
to
your
have to,
beard
you
line.
know.
Apparently.
Booker's
You
got all
gotta
these promo
compete.
codes.
I got hair products. I got
right.
beard
What did you come up
products.
with?
You
There
know
you
what?
go.
I even got some products for the ladies.
There you go.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to have to add that to my Christmas
Oh,
list.
yes. Oh, yes.
It's extensive. Charlie?
You know what else? Everyone is looking for things to get their loved ones for themselves for the holidays. Well, guess what? I have the best gift of all. It is a subscription to the WWE Network because, ladies and gentlemen, let's face it, there is only one place that you can watch TLC, and that is on the WWE Network. So right now, everybody, I want you to head on over to WWENetwork.com and sign up because TLC is absolutely free for new subscribers. Coach, let's tell them what they can expect tonight.
Let's get to it. Roman Reigns and King Baron Corbin. Tables, ladders, and chairs match. Then now the issues between these two, they've been simmering for weeks. Friday Night SmackDown week after week on Fox, Booker T. But tonight, all those issues come to a head here at TLC.
And the A-lister, he does not stand for anybody talking about his family, and that is exactly what has led to him coming face-to-face tonight with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. So will The Miz make it out alive to rejoin his wife and kids in LA, or will he regret not running when he had the chance?
Now, Rusev has had to deal with 3 months of marital strife, psychological warfare, and just nothing that a married man should have to go through, quite frankly. Well, tonight, Rusev will try to get a certain level of revenge when he gets Bobby Lashley in a tables match.
And the Viking Raiders have run through just about every tag team on the Red Brand, and tonight we find out which team or teams will be courageous enough to step up to the powerful duo, the Raw Tag Team Champions, in their open challenge.
And now, Charlie, because of the other high-profile matches tonight, this one coming in under the radar. But understand, Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, after ominous talking, brain-twisting mind games, and intense stare-downs, well, tonight, these two rising stars, they could steal the show.
And the Revival, well, they are no strangers to the New Day, but how will they fare when ladders are brought into the equation? The New Day putting their SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line tonight against the Revival at TLC.
And if you are a faithful viewer of the kickoff shows, then you know you don't have to wait until the top of the hour to get in-ring action. How about Humberto Andrade live right here on the kickoff show?
And kicking off the TLC action this evening, it's the women's tag team champs, the Kabuki Warriors, defending their titles against the dominant duo of the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and 10-time Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Asuka and Kairi out to prove they aren't the nice play-by-the-rules team everyone originally thought, but can they back up this mentality with a win tonight?
Okay, everybody, that's where we want to start right now because I think with the way that Becky and Charlotte Flair's egos have grown over the last 12 months, it's very difficult to think that they can coexist for one night. But with the tag team titles on the line, I'll start with you, David. You'd have to believe they can set everything aside.
Well, I mean, you would have to believe it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be true. It kind of reminds me of when the Mega Powers joined forces. Worked for a little bit, and then you saw the implosion. But you know what they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they might be able to get it together tonight. I hope they can.
You may have to explain that last one to Charlie a little bit later on. But
Come
Booker, you are a tag team extraordinaire. I mean, you and I are former tag team.
Extraordinaire. Yeah.
I like that.
We're former
Good
tag team
adjectives.
champions. You and David too. We're all former tag team champions up here on this set. So
Are we sure about this?
yeah, it's in the record
Yeah, I don't
books.
know about that.
But what is it going to take for these two mega stars separately to come together tonight and coexist?
Okay, let me refocus here. As far as the Kabuki Warriors, man, before we even get there, this is my shucky ducky quack quack moment.
And it came so quick.
No, seriously, I mean, because this match right here has a whole lot behind. There it is, I love it. But this match right here, the Kabuki Warriors, just a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, we saw the Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte Flair, and I tell you, I must say, it's the match of the year for me right now, that match. And now add Becky Lynch to the fray. Now, you think this tag team is going to be able to go out there and match up with the Kabuki Warriors, but I see the Kabuki Warriors being something that I call special, something I call unique, and they're going to rise tonight to the occasion. I see the Kabuki Warriors going out there and shocking the world tonight at TLC.
Wow, David, your response to that?
I agree with you because the Kabuki Warriors, they're already an established team who work together extremely effectively. And as you well know, Booker T, you know, tag team extraordinaire, like myself, the most important thing in a tag team is trust. Trust in your partner, as you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Charlotte and Becky can trust each other.
Man,
I mean, I don't see how that could be.
Cocktail about to explode. Seriously.
So what's it going to take for them to trust each other?
They're going to have to put their differences aside and just want to be great. Greatness. The pursuit of greatness is what it's going to take.
What will it say about the winners of this match tonight? I mean, whether it's Charlotte and Becky or the Kabuki Warriors, how will they be able to be described post-match?
I mean, I can't say, I can't speak on that because, like you say, Charlotte and Becky, they're two just put together to go out here and try to, get a win tonight. But the Kabuki Warriors, like I said, they are what this business is. They are the fabric of what this business was built on. So I mean, I'm talking about the Great Mutas. I'm talking about Kabuki. It's so many of them that these guys right here, that they're setting ablaze.
All right.
They're awesome.
We'll put a bow in it right there. Don't forget that tag team tables, ladders, and chairs match comes up later tonight live TLC on the WWE Network. Still to come here on the kickoff show. There they are backstage. Oh, they've been quite the talk of the WWE. Lana and Bobby Lashley. We've got an in-depth interview live on the show next.
Grubhub, America's leader in food delivery, just got better. Introducing Perks, millions of dollars in deals and free food nationwide. Download the Grubhub app today and see the perks waiting for you.
Welcome back to the Kickoff Show. We'd like to extend a special thank you to Kevin Rudolph for Do You Feel Me? Official theme song with tables, ladders, and chairs. Available now on Apple Music and Spotify. All right, it's been a long 3 months for Rusev. Returning in September just to find out his wife Lana was having an affair with Bobby Lashley. It would drive any married man insane. It's quite possibly been the craziest scandal to ever hit the WWE Universe. But after they went their separate ways this past Monday night, well, tonight it truly comes to a head.
You're saying I'm lying? Are you freaking kidding me?
Then what are you trying to do? Why are you yelling?
That's WWE superstar Rusev and his ravishing wife Lana getting into it last month in what has been yet again another incident between this Ross and Rachel turned Brad and Jennifer. So what's got these two all riled up? Well, you see, it all started back in September when Lana thought it would be a good idea to play a little tongue wrestling with Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley is kissing Rusev's wife!
And from there, it's been a total non-stop roller coaster of drama, including restaurant brawls, accusations of infidelity.
Rusev cheated on me.
That never happened! That never happened!
Fake pregnancies.
Rusev put a little Machka Brad inside me!
You're pregnant.
That is Bobby Lashley. Wait a minute!
I cannot believe he believed I was pregnant.
Restraining orders.
You've been served with a temporary restraining order in the state of Illinois.
And multiple arrests.
And again, the restraining order. Rusev couldn't come 90 feet between Lana and Lashley.
You guys had one job to do. You're under arrest.
Bobby Lashley is being arrested.
You should be arrested, Rusev!
Lana and Lashley are going to be cuffed out of Nashville.
And now, there seems to be only one solution. And that's divorce.
I am here to preside over the signing of a divorce contract.
But Rusev only had one condition.
A match with your hot boyfriend, Bobby Lashley.
One day, will Bobby Lashley tell his children this is how he met their mother?
After this ridiculous divorce is over, I'm gonna ask this woman to marry me.
Or will it could be Rusev's day, week, month, or even his year.
Now see you whenever you want, because that's gonna happen on none other day but Rusev Day.
Oh, and Lashley.
At TLC, there will be no tender, loving care for Rusev and Lashley. Just tables.
Lashley through the table.
Lana and carnage.
Well, it's pretty clear that there's been a lot of emotion, high emotion involved with these three later on tonight when Rusev and Bobby Lashley go head-to-head. Joining us now here live on the Kickoff Show is Bobby Lashley and Lana. Guys, I want to start with this. After everything we just saw in that package, has all of this been worth it to the two of you?
Has it been worth it?
Excuse me?
Are you talking about our relationship?
Yes.
Our relationship has definitely been worth it. I mean, everything that's been happening on the outside has nothing to do with us. It just happens to do with Rusev.
Who's jealous.
Who's
clearly,
jealous.
Of our love.
And as soon as we get rid of Rusev, everything will be ravishing.
Yes.
Lana, I have a question for you. So, are you at all concerned about the possible litigation you may be facing due to your fallacious, vexatious, and downright mendacious conduct in your failed attempt to subvert the legal system and manipulate it into your own personal gain?
Jeez.
Excuse me? Are you my therapist now?
What is this?
Is that what this is? Is this turning into a therapy
Relation-
session? I'm very, very
Yeah,
confused.
straightforward,
How
legal
about we talk
question.
about you and your relationships? You want to talk about your relationship? Why are you coming at me about my relationships?
Well, I'm
Excuse
somewhat
me.
of an expert.
Seriously?
Calm down.
Are you, is this Dr. Phil now?
We're talking peons. We're talking about working.
Hey,
Unreal.
question.
Hey,
Seriously?
Bobby,
Yes.
this Booker T, you got a big match tonight, and I want to ask about, you know what, to hell with that question right there. I got something else I really want to ask you, and I'm going to just go there. You know, having, this relationship, I mean, it's a lot of big money matches, world championship, implications perhaps you could be in right now, and you're dealing with this problem as far as Rusev and Lana. Do you think Lana is holding you back in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
Absolutely, she's not holding me back. You know how it is, Book. When you're in this business, you need, what do you call it, an ally in this business. And I had no allies before. So now that I have an ally, everybody thinks that she's holding me back. I don't think she's holding me back at all. And by the way, let's just leave it at that.
How about we talk
I'll
about
just
your
stay out
bad
that one.
Spinneroonie? That I do way better, by the way.
Fucking people, don't
Lana,
attack Booker T because
seriously,
he's just gonna go all out.
what is wrong with you people? Always attacking me?
He's
Like,
just
I
in
gotta
great
start attacking
shape to
each and every
sit
single one
behind
of
a
you guys, if
desk.
that's what you guys want. Each and every single one of you have a lot of issues of your own instead of coming and attacking me. I mean, we're the victim here. We've done nothing wrong. All we're doing is just sharing our love.
Well, Lana, I have a question for you. This is Charlie.
Big money matches.
What happens,
Who is this?
hypothetically, if tonight your Bobby loses to your ex?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Renee? Renee?
Nope.
Oh,
not
no.
Renee.
Oh, wait. The wannabe Renee?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's the wannabe Renee. It's the girl that does Renee's job worse because Renee got promoted to WWE Backstage. Oh my God. Charlie, I'm so sorry that you're not as good as Renee. But if you come at me with any of your stupid questions again, literally, do not walk into the locker room. Anywhere near. The disrespect that you have towards me is so unbelievable. And by the way, tonight, my Bobby is going to crush and destroy my ex-husband. Come at me one more time. I swear I'll snatch you bald.
Okay, we'll see about
Unreal.
that. We'll see about that.
Anyways, sorry. You guys really just fluster me. I just have to say that tonight,
It's a very easy win.
yes.
I think
You're gonna completely finish
we'll
him.
leave it right there. We'll leave it right there.
Finish. Literally crush and
that's-
destroy
That's gonna
my
do it. That's gonna do it.
jealous,
Lana, thank you.
jealous,
Thank you, Bobby. Lana, thank you.
jealous ex-boyfriend,
We can take them down right now.
ex-husband,
We don't need her
ex-lover,
insulting
ex-best
anybody else.
friend,
Take them down.
ex-just
Take them
unbelievable.
down. Thank you. I apologize, Charlie, that she insulted
You know what?
like
I don't
that.
take Lana seriously, really, on any occasion. Tonight, really no different.
Well, clearly, David, she is speaking a lot instead of Bobby. Do you
Yeah,
think she is holding Bobby Lashley back?
Let's put this in perspective. So first of all, Rusev's wife Lana cheated on him, filed a bogus order of protection, lied on him to help their divorce. Come on, I think Rusev is better off because let me tell you this. I'm pretty much an expert on this very situation. If you know what I'm talking about, I would tell Rusev, good riddance, man, you're better off. But I understand how he feels about Bobby Lashley. I mean, you sleep with another man's wife.
Look, man,
yo, you got to ask what we're coming to you.
Look here. Lana is using Bobby. The brother just don't see it. And I understand. Right now, it's been a lot of hot nights. You know what I mean? And things happen when you go there. So I can understand from that perspective, but the brother is definitely not thinking properly. Like I say, Bobby could be in title matches right now. Bobby could be doing a whole lot bigger and better things than running around with this scallywag. With Lana.
To your point of the question that you asked those two, if you're Rusev, he's got a lot on the line here tonight too. You said the future 2020 could be this could be a launching point for either one of them.
Yeah, Rusev need to cut his ties with this thing. He need to get past this. What I did with my first wife was I wrote a check, right? I said, here, you take this money and get the hell out of here. That's what Rusev needs to do and move on. And like I say, think about his career and what's there. It's a lot of, like they say, it's a lot of fish in the sea. It's a lot of beautiful women out there.
You're smarter than most people, though. You're smarter than most men, all right?
Rusev needs to move on, but at the same time, Bobby Lashley, on principle, you sleep with another man's wife, you know. You got to ask what's coming.
At least one of those. At least one.
And when I see you, it's on site. It's one of those.
Don't matter. HEB, it could be anywhere.
On the job, book.
Don't catch Starbucks. Catch him at Starbucks and beat the hell out of him.
All right, that's coming up later tonight right here live on the WWE Network. This past Monday night on Raw, it kind of shocked us all when there was a van, there was AOP, and then there was Seth Rollins. Guys, let's go back. And Kevin Owens was attacking this van backstage at Monday Night Raw. Now, as he continued to open doors, as he continued to go around, well, what happened to Kevin Owens after this? I don't think anybody saw it coming, and who was behind it? Certainly none of us saw it coming.
No, Seth Rollins, he saw it coming. What this is called master plan. What this is called is a coup d'etat, is what this is called.
A coup d'etat?
Exactly. And looking right,
yeah, that's what it is.
This the outcome right here.
Well, there is AOP. There is Kevin Owens. And this was a beatdown that we know that AOP is capable of. But when you reveal this, that's when I got chills.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Now, and then stomping Kevin Owens' head into the concrete floor backstage. And then those three in the same shot on the same side. I don't know.
Something Kevin Owens was suspicious of, though.
Booker, what did you make of AOP?
Nah, man, AOP, they're the guys, man. These guys are rough and tough, and like I said, on WWE Backstage, they got a chip in the game, and I don't see too many people in that locker room that's going to step up and step to AOP, because
that's right.
what I see in these guys are bad, what I call bad news.
I feel like they're game changers. I think it was smart for Rollins to partner up with them, because who knows what these guys are going to do.
I say, who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them?
Nobody.
Who's going to stop them?
So you're saying that AOP, in your mind, is the
Look
toughest?
here, let me tell you something. These guys been together accumulating bodies for the last 5 years. They've been working on their craft. And like I say,
hold up. Hey. Mr. T, please let me talk to you for a second here. AOP, who's going to stop AOP? You're gonna.
Ain't no need to get up. This ain't a threat. Just stay down.
I'm not getting up. Right?
You're gonna talk about AOP and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins and probably make a pun about falling while I'm standing here, but you're not gonna talk about the revival. You're not gonna talk about the fact that we are 3-time, going on 4-time WWE Tag Team Champions, and that we're gonna beat the New Day in a ladder match tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Just ignore us. Hey, do like everybody else in the company. Ignore us. No, you ain't gotta say nothing. You already said AOP's better than us. I bet after tonight, we prove you wrong. After we prove you wrong and beat New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. No, don't speak. You've had hours to speak. It's our turn. It's our turn to speak.
Revival time. Okay.
I say after that, after we win it for the 4th time, Why don't you step up, huh? Why don't you get your better half, Stevie Ray, the one we respect, get Stevie Ray and say, you know what, let me take this out.
We'll beat the respect out of both of them.
No, I'm going to take this out because I'm going to let you know this is serious. No, don't
down.
point at me. Don't point at me. I'm taking this out because this is serious. This ain't no network stuff.
Look at us.
This is serious,
Look
okay?
at us.
I'm watching my
Eye
mouth.
contact.
I'm watching my language. How about you Houston boys, you Texas boys, come to North Carolina and see what it's like, huh? Huh? If you want to question us, why don't you question us?
What do you say? What do you say, Booker? Huh? Are you going to stop us since nobody can stop AOP? Maybe Harlem Heat can stop the revival, huh?
Why not give your ass a hangover?
It's not about you. You're right. It's not about you. Give us the Hall of Fame rings. We deserve
Hand them over.
It's not about you. It's about the revival. You give us our Hall of Fame rings.
Tonight, ladder match, 4-time SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the absolute best tag team on this damn planet. And
Right
you
here.
know. And when you're ready to take these little earbuds out and you want to step in the ring and get physical,
Don't forget now.
you want to get physical, come see your boys.
Nah, I don't want to.
Yeah, top guys. Al, don't wrap us up. Don't wrap us up.
We out.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay, that of course, the Revival, AKA the top guys, and you can see the kind of reaction that they're getting here inside the Target Center. Again, that match will kick off TLC, top of the hour right here on the WWE Network. We've got to get things back on track here. While we do that, it's time for a little
Whoa. Before you even go there, man. I got to respond to this.
I agree.
All right? I got to respond to
All
this.
right, Book.
You know, the reason why I didn't do anything, I want everybody out there to know, the reason why I didn't do anything, I didn't respond because sometimes you got to go down to their level to bring them up to your level. And that's why I'm here, guys. I got to set an example. I could have just started whooping somebody's ass right there, and it would have been all over the internet.
Well said.
David, we got about 15
you got to
seconds.
respect this man. I understand the Revival. They're trying to come up. Booker T is a 2-time Hall of Famer. You see the rings right there.
No,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
the problem. That's the problem with these young guys, man. They don't. I could have been getting ready to say something good about these guys, and they jumped me. But it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up right there.
It's all good.
All right, now it's time to
It's
send
all
ringside.
good.
Let's send it to Vic, the King, and Samoa Joe. Guys, good evening.
Well, the Revival very confident heading into tonight, but guys, it's time to kick things off here at TLC with Joe with a rematch from this past week on Raw.
And one that we should be excited about, Humberto Carrillo goes at it one more time with Andrade. And, these are two guys who are extremely explosive. But, Humberto Carrillo, he's got a little bit of an extra chip on his shoulder. Obviously, he's been getting altercations with Andrade, and, he wants to wrap things up nice and tight tonight.
WWE Universe filing into the Target Center. Capacity crowd expected here in Minneapolis for tables, ladders, and chairs.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, accompanied to the ring by Zelina Vega from Gomez Palacio, Toronto, Mexico, weighing in at 215 pounds, Andrade!
And guys, if we go back to this past week on Raw, it really started with an argument between Andrade and Humberto, which led to this matchup from this past week on Raw, which was Humberto Carrillo's biggest victory of his career, King, and he looked good throughout the match.
Yeah, but you got to watch this because this had a lot to do with it. Whoa, Andrade, by mistake, because Humberto was quick enough to move out of the way, and then gets himself hooked into this move and loses the match. And you got to watch this. I think Andrade, he thinks it's Zelina's fault.
Well,
It's
King,
not her fault.
this led to a lot of speculation amongst the WWE Universe questioning the relationship between Andrade and Zelina Vega.
I think it's a little bit premature to question this relationship. I mean, every long-term relationship has its ups and downs, and this is no different. I know that they're a strong team, they're on the same page, and they're going to work through this.
Just over 30 minutes until TLC begins, but King, do you believe?
No, I don't believe. I'm thinking we may have another Rusev and Lana situation.
Well, WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs is presented by WWE Supercard Season 6. Build your team of friends and compete together to earn powerful rewards. Available now for free on iOS and Android. And TLC is brought to you by Tap Out. Available now at tapout.com.
And his opponent, from Monterrey, Mexico, weighing in at 198 pounds, Humberto Carrillo!
Humberto Carrillo said earlier today on social media that WWE Universe should be ready for some lucha action. And guys, there's no doubt This style that Humberto Carrillo brings to the ring every week on Monday nights is one thing exciting.
You know, to say it's exciting is a bit of an understatement. What Humberto Carrillo does in the ring is like what many other superstars could only dream of. Once he gets to that top rope, you don't know what's going to happen, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys keep your eyes peeled. Watch Humberto every minute of this match, because I'm going to be watching with great interest Zelina and, well, the relationship between Zelina and Andrade.
You see the eyes on Andrade focused in on Humberto Carrillo. And let's not forget, this past week on Raw, the first loss ever suffered by Andrade on Raw since coming over in the WWE Draft. Oh, nice block by Andrade. And right now, Andrade saying one step ahead of Humberto Carrillo.
You know, and this is not the way you want to start out against Andrade. He is an absolute torturer once he gets going.
Andrade already starting to talk trash. He said Carrillo will not be as lucky as he was on Monday here tonight at tables, ladders, and chairs.
Man, right in the chin, look at that.
And you're already seeing early on, I mean, as Andrade goes into the cover, hooks to leg, and Carrillo able to kick out at one. Joe, Andrade is obviously going to be extra focused here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he definitely has a bone to pick. He wants to prove that the combo of him and Zelina Vega are safe and sound. Nothing's wrong at Camp Andrade. And, you know, a big win over Humberto tonight would cement that perception.
Whoa!
Oh! Big backdrop. And Carrillo, you can see the pain etched on his face.
That big smile there on the face of Andrade, but still, look at, I'm trying to read the expressions on the face of Zelina.
Well, this past week on Raw, Zelina has said there should be an asterisk next to the victory for Humberto Carrillo.
Dick, I think he was talking to you.
Well, it was a miscommunication nonetheless, and now Carrillo hooking the top rope. Oh, nice elbow by Humberto. Humberto, whose chest is already starting to light up red. Nice arm drag, takes down Andrade. And Humberto can string together offense so quickly, takes to the air and another takedown.
That was pretty cool. Andrade proud of himself now. Well, Humberto proud of himself. But look at this.
And this is what I was talking about.
And crash and burn to the outside. Can Carrillo bounce back here at TLC and knock off Andrade one more time?
There's the big smile.
Superman punch! Spear onto King Corbin! Reigns wrist shackles! Absolutely ruthless. Showering Reigns in dog food.
Whether it's with a table, a ladder, or a chair, at TLC, I'm gonna embarrass him.
A TLC match where anything goes.
WWE TLC pay-per-view, streaming live on WWE Network. Tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers.
Well, what a matchup that is to come here on the kickoff show. Andrade looking to bounce back here against Humberto Carrillo in just under 30 minutes until we start Tables, Ladders, and Chairs streaming live on the WWE Network.
Oh, what a night this is going to be. I can't wait to... Oh, what's he saying here?
You see Zelina Vega, you know, barking out orders to Andrade. And Joe, I mean, you've walked around in the locker room. Zelina has not been very happy the last 7 nights.
You know, and rightly so. I mean, this combination here, they pride themselves on success. And anytime they come up short, you know, they're going to be disappointed.
Oh, Andrade very close to that 5 count, broke on 4.5, and the damage done, and Andrade follows up quickly.
Andrade going after that chin of Humberto. He told me earlier today, he said, Humberto's got so much glass in his jaw, he should be a chandelier.
King, I want to ask you about Andrade here, because as we mentioned, the first loss he suffered on Raw, and, you know, does that set a setback to a superstar? Is that in the back of his mind?
Well, of course. What do you think? Anytime you get a loss, it's a setback. The same thing. And I know any setback in her career, it's not going to set well with her. And you know, all week long, Andrade was blaming Zelina.
And that's part of everyone questioning the relationship between these two. So can, Zelina and Andrade get back on their winning ways tonight. And look at Andrade, right back to work on the left shoulder. And you see the strain right now on the left shoulder, Joe, of Carrillo.
And this is exactly what you do to a dynamic and powerful wrestler. You put them on the mat and you grind them out. Everybody is the same height when they're on their back. And that's exactly what Andrade's doing right now.
Well, Carrillo now feeding off the WWE Universe that's still filing into the Target Center. Carrillo trying to muster any sort of offense, and now a little separation has been created.
Yeah, no glass in that jaw. He's okay.
But Carrillo, so much taken out of him this far. Carrillo now looking for the Insta-curry. No one there. Andrade one step ahead.
And that's the difference. I mean, these are both great athletes, but one just has just that big of a higher ring IQ.
Carrillo to land on his feet, comes in. Hurricane Rana takes Andrade off his feet. And can Carrillo now muster together some offensive moves?
He's taking a lot of punishment.
He better.
Oh, Andrade up and over to the floor.
Oh, this could be the break he needs.
This could indeed be the break for Carrillo to get back into the match here at TLC.
I don't like you. But right now, I don't like the Kabuki Warriors more.
Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, the Kabuki Warriors. A tables, ladders, and chairs match for the women's tag team titles.
What a night it's gonna be.
WWE TLC pay-per-view streaming live on WWE Network tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers.
Man, oh man.
What a tag team match still to come for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, but right now Andrade has been in control. Joe Carrillo hasn't been able to get out of the gates.
And that's exactly what Andrade wants to happen.
Whoa!
Oh, look at this.
Carrillo able to land on his feet, and now can the momentum start to shift for Carrillo. High crossbody connects on Andrade. And now Carrillo swing and a miss, but connects on the second roundhouse.
That is different level athleticism in order to swing that kick through, continue the momentum, make contact on the second way around. Not many people can do that in this world.
And look at this standing moonsault, no one there. And nice reversal by Andrade.
That is ring IQ. Great presence of mind by Andrade.
Andrade has had a counter for a counter on Carrillo in this matchup.
Sometimes you just try to be a little too cute, and I think that's what happened there. Oh, look out now.
And you see Andrade now with Carrillo in his sights.
Watch it, watch it.
Carrillo just charged in. Andrade may be out.
He took his eyes off the prize.
And now Carrillo. He's been feeling the energy all night long.
Watch out here.
Carrillo looking to take
Coming
to the
in this
air.
way. Whoa!
If I'm not mistaken, Andrade looking the worse for wear.
Andrade feeling the effects of this matchup. Carrillo looking to score another huge win here at TLC. And Andrade's right shoulder off the mat. Take a look at this moments ago. Boom! Right under the jaw. And then following that up, flawlessly, effortlessly flying through the air was Humberto Carrillo.
Almost right in our laps here.
And Joe, you know how dangerous momentum can be inside that ring, and Carrillo's got it all right now. Carrillo, sidestepped. Andrade, nice forearm. Carrillo now, what's on his mind?
I don't know. I hope he's not trying to be too cute.
Missile drop kick connects.
There is no planned defense for that.
Cover! And another near fall. How devastating, guys, would a loss be for Andrade again here tonight?
It would be, but you know what? Look at Andrade right now. Tough as nails in there, with enough presence of mind to still kick out. He's very much in this fight.
I know one thing. If Andrade loses again to Humberto, he'll never want to see Humberto again.
Humberto Carrillo. Again, trying to take high risk. Will we have high reward for Carrillo tonight here at tables, ladders, and chairs?
Not a good idea.
Too much time.
Yep. Oh, man. There's that jaw again. Oh.
Andrade, who has felt embarrassed over the last week, seems to have a little extra fire at this moment. Trying to find a different gear, but what a forearm, Joe, from Carrillo.
You cannot deny that he has power. I mean, he's going out there, he's consistently beating Andrade in these firefights. It'll be interesting what who gets the better of this up here.
Whoa.
Oh, and that does not look good for Humberto.
No.
Oh, no, don't do this.
Andrade from the post, down into the chest of Carrillo.
That's it.
Oh.
That is it.
And momentum has
Look at Zelina's
drastically
face.
shifted.
Andrade gets Carrillo back into the ring.
Take your time.
Andrade crawling into the cover for redemption tonight, and another kick out. How did Carrillo kick out of this? Look at this one more time.
Oh, man, this is a mud
Perfectly placed by Andrade.
This is awesome.
Just over 22 minutes away from TLC beginning. And it could be just moments away from Andrade putting away Carrillo. Carrillo counters. Andrade able to land on his feet. That kick swings wildly. Second one didn't miss.
Well scouted.
Andrade charging and
Well
missed on
scouted.
the elbow. Carrillo now baited in Andrade. What a clothesline! Both men down.
We're firing live rounds tonight.
What a kick, what a clothesline.
Telling you, that almost turned Humberto inside out.
Do you see the welt starting to form on the ribcage of Andrade?
And rightly so. Both these men have taken tremendous punishment up to this point.
Highly anticipated rematch from this past week. Oh, and a right foot gets up for Andrade.
And this is where Andrade's dangerous. When he's desperate, when his back's against the wall.
He's desperate now.
What a kick by Carrillo, and now Carrillo could be looking for an emphatic statement.
These guys are determined to outdo each other coming off that top rope.
Andrade to the body. Andrade just trying to swing any mustard he's got left. And now Carrillo, another kick to the face. How in the world, and take a look at the left, look at the welts forming on Andrade as Carrillo trying to drag Andrade into position.
What's he going for here? I would have covered him.
Oh, backdrop.
Oh.
Right into that turnbuckle.
Guys, do you necessarily know what Carrillo was looking for there? Was quite awkward, but now Andrade, double knees.
And that could be all she wrote.
Andrade into the cover. The count at Carrillo again, able to kick out. And frustration King's got to be building inside not only Zelina, but also Andrade.
He's building inside me. I don't
Andrade now.
understand how this young man keeps kicking out.
Looking for that hammerlock DDT.
And here comes the equalizer.
Whoa.
Not again.
Much like we saw this past week on Raw. Carrillo now goes up. Countered. It's countered. Shoulders down. Carrillo kicks out. Andrade now right back in with a suplex.
I was having deja vu there for a minute.
See, look at the adjustment, all right? They don't make the same mistakes twice.
Well, history did not repeat itself yet. And now, wait a minute now. Carrillo from behind. Carrillo now trying to muster some more offense. Again, Carrillo going all the way to the top rope with Andrade.
And this could get dangerous.
What is on Carrillo's mind?
Andrade's eyes cut. I don't think he can see very well.
Carrillo.
Oh, no.
Inverted Hurricane Rana. What? That's got to be it. Carrillo now quickly scaling back to the top rope.
That's a lot of distance.
Moonsault connects. Carrillo cover. Count. Carrillo victorious again.
Here is your winner, Humberto Carrillo.
King, have you ever seen anything like that?
This is amazing. Watch again. Look at this. Oh, man.
And then, Joe, the presence of mind to hit this picture-perfect moonsault.
And look at that distance that he covered, too. I mean, this is physically impressive.
The height, the landing, and another impressive outing by Humberto Carrillo, who now has knocked off Andrade in back-to-back matches. Twice, guys, in 1 week, Humberto Carrillo has taken out Andrade.
Oh, no, look out. There may be more repercussions. I think Andrade just says, I'm through with you, Zelina. He's blaming her again.
Well, I don't necessarily know. I think Zelina and Andrade will be able to get back on the right page, but for tonight, it's all about Carrillo.
What an amazing performance by both men here tonight on the kickoff show as the WWE Universe, the fans continue to file into the Target Center. We are in an ice-cold Minneapolis, Minnesota outside, but it is red hot, as you just saw, inside. Now, later on tonight on TLC, Bray Wyatt is the Universal Champion. The Miz has taken it upon himself to not only stop whatever this is, but stop the champion as well, but also try and find out why all the mind games have led us to tonight.
I was gonna start this show off with an episode of Miz TV, and my guest was supposed to be Daniel Bryan. But unfortunately, due to the horrific events of last week caused by the Fiend Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan has virtually disappeared. I've never liked Daniel Bryan, but I will find out what happened.
Yowie wowie! Trust me on this one, Miz. You don't want to know what happened to Daniel Bryan. Daniel was coming to play with me at TLC. Now I don't think he's gonna be there. But hey, since you're a little snooping snooperoo, maybe you'd like to come play instead.
This isn't about me, this is about Daniel, who's like family to the WWE Universe.
Did you just say family? I used to have a family. And now, I have a chance to join a new family. Do you want to come and play with me now?
Maurice, calm down. Lock the door, set the alarm. I'm not risking anything. I'm coming home right now.
Say cheese. There's no place like home for the holidays.
Miz, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me and inviting me into your beautiful home. Can you describe to me what went down last week on SmackDown?
Bray Wyatt likes to play mind games, but there's a line that you don't cross. And Bray Wyatt crossed that line. And Bray Wyatt brags that he's changed superstars. But you know, I'm a changed man too. I'm a father of 2 young girls. Family is the most important thing to me. And I don't know what Bray Wyatt's capable of.
You okay? You okay? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Baby.
Let me in. I was just trying to be nice.
Monroe! Go, go, go.
Miz, I can see how much you love your family. Do you want to come and play with me now? You can train yourself not to feel love.
You okay, sweetheart?
You okay? You okay?
Family is the most important thing to me. Where did she get this?
What is that?
Where did she get this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Where did you get this?
I can teach you.
Family is the most important.
All you have to do is let me in.
I think it's pretty clear what The Miz was talking about, everybody, when he said that Bray Wyatt has crossed the line.
100%.
You bring family into it, that's crossing the line. David, I'll start with you. When you watch that package, how do you feel?
Man, I mean, it makes me uncomfortable. We don't even really know everything that Bray Wyatt is capable of. This man said he used to have a family. Used to. What happened to him? Did he get rid of him? I mean, I got some questions. Now he's got The Miz's daughter playing with some demonic doll from his deranged funhouse. I mean, I think The Miz needs to get an exorcist here.
It kind of feels that way. Booker, when you're in your own home, like what they were, you tried to do an interview with your co-host, Renee Young, and that happens, that's going to strike paranoia in anybody.
Yeah. It would. I would imagine. This is different. This is different for The Miz. I mean, Miz been around here a long time, over 10 years here in the WWE. I mean, that's a decade of passion, to the business. He's a guy that you know, you can call and say, hey, Miz, I need you to step up. You know, Miz is kind of like the badass Ryan Seacrest. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, it's another moment for the Miz to step up and then have a moment here at TLC against Bray Wyatt.
But I don't think this was the moment to step up on. I mean, the Miz finally decides to stand up for somebody, and it's Daniel Bryan, his nemesis. I mean, after Bray Wyatt or The Fiend takes him underneath the ring and throws out locks of hair, if that were me, I would have been like, look, Daniel, you had a good run. In fact, 2 of them, but you're on your own.
There again, like I said, I've been around here a long time. That's what the Miz do. I mean, he steps up when somebody when you need to call somebody to do anything. Miz is the guy to babysit your kids. Miz is the guy to have a fight with Bray Wyatt. Miz is the guy. Seriously, I'm trying to tell you.
Smarter than that.
Miz is, we all know the Miz is very strong and stands up in his convictions, stands up for what he believes in. You know, I will say I do not condone Bray Wyatt messing with the Miz's family, but this has triggered the Miz to a depth that I don't think we have seen before, and that is what he is going to need tonight when he faces Bray Wyatt.
See, Miz, though, he don't live nowhere near Texas. That's the problem, you know.
All right. Well, this could be a blessing in disguise if Miz comes out on the other end of this even stronger than he already is. As we continue to count down to the top of the hour, the WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs Kickoff Show is brought to you by Grubhub. Hungry? Tag team mealtime, over 100,000 restaurants online or on the Grubhub app. Get $10 off your first delivery order of $15 or more with code TLC10 at checkout. Grubhub, restaurants you love, delivered.
Throughout one's career, there's always this one competitor, this one person that challenges your skill set. And I feel, Mr. Murphy, that you are mine. And you make me pause myself and contemplate everything that I've done. Because even beyond this, beyond TLC, Buddy Murphy, I feel that you and I are destined to do this over and over and over. Unless I amputate you from my career tonight with one swift black mass, allowing you to fade to black. And all of this, Mr. Murphy, because you decided to pick a fight with me.
Well, look, Aleister Black said it, that Buddy Murphy decided to pick a fight with Aleister Black. He brought this all on himself. He said that he was going to be the one to calm Aleister Black down. Does he even know what he's getting himself into?
I mean, you gotta love the guy's confidence. And I mean, frankly, Buddy Murphy impressed me when he took Roman Reigns to the limit. I mean, if you remember when he was falsely accused. By the way, Mr. Murphy, if you want to clear your name, you know where to reach me, Otunga Law.
Nice little plug.
But I think everybody was, you know, books plugging the beard care. Everybody was impressed by Buddy Murphy, I gotta be honest. So, but I also think that Aleister Black is the most dangerous striker in WWE. This one's gonna be great.
I mean, Aleister Black, he's been saying, somebody step up. Somebody call me out. And I like Buddy Murphy saying, hey, I'm your guy. I'm going to go out here and show everybody exactly what I'm made of. And I like it. I like the dynamics of it. 2 young guys got a chance to come out here and steal the show at TLC. We're going to see exactly how much Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera, they really knowledgeable.
Strong references.
Yeah, I think that match could, as you say, steal the show. And it, of course, comes up later on tonight. TLC kicks off at the top of the hour, 7 Eastern, right here on the WWE Network. On the other side, we get you set, you go home.
Grubhub, America's leader in food delivery, just got better. Introducing Perks, millions of dollars in deals and free food nationwide. Download the Grubhub app today and see the perks waiting for you.
The TLC Kickoff Show continues here on the WWE Network as we continue to count down to the top of the hour. Do not forget, coming up tonight right after TLC, the latest edition of Broken Skull Sessions with the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, as he goes one-on-one with the WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg, live tonight right after TLC.
All right, well, we are approaching the end of a decade, and no one should be rolling into this new year without their WWE Network subscription, because guess what, everybody? Tonight, that is the only way you're going to be able to watch TLC tables, ladders, and chairs. So right now, you have one job. It will only take but a minute. Head on over to WWENetwork.com and sign up, because TLC is free for new subscribers, and here is all the things you can expect to see tonight.
We know that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair came into 2019 with goals. One of those goals is have to be a champion heading into 2020. They have a shot tonight as they team up to take on the Kabuki Warriors.
And do not mess with the Miz's family. That is exactly what Bray Wyatt did, leading the A-lister to come face-to-face with the Universal Champion tonight. So will he make it alive to rejoin his wife and daughters in LA, or will he regret not running when he had the chance from Bray Wyatt?
How about Rusev, Bobby Lashley? What a 3 months it has been. Now, Bobby Lashley said earlier tonight right here on the Kickoff Show that Lana not only doesn't hold him back, but he actually helps, or she helps him. We'll see how much she can help tonight. Rusev, Bobby Lashley, table.
And the Viking Raiders have beat just about every team on Raw. Tonight we find out who is going to be courageous enough to step up to the Raw Tag Team Champions in their open challenge.
And then we just heard from Aleister Black. He is ready to go. Buddy Murphy, always ready. These two one-on-one. And who's to say what they're going to pull off together?
And the Revival, they know the New Day well, but how are they going to fare when ladders are brought into the equation? The New Day putting their SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line tonight against the Revival.
And finally, Roman Reigns, King Corbin in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Now, King Corbin has made it his mission to stop the big dog Roman Reigns, but more than that, embarrass him. He will stop at nothing to get the job done.
Roman Reigns' yard, it is my kingdom. Roman Reigns claims to be a locker room leader.
Wait a minute, Rude and Ziggler. King Corbin was right, Roman's lost the locker room.
But he's just a shell of the man he once was.
King Corbin has beaten Roman Reigns.
Big dog. Your bark, it's starting to sound a lot like a little chihuahua. Can you hear that? It's like a little ankle biter.
Here comes the big dog.
Hey, let's see if the big dog knows some tricks. Take a knee and bow.
King Corbin is hell-bent on humiliating Roman Reigns.
All right. The only thing that's humiliating around here is the fact that Team Corbin, they can't get the job done against me. He's bigger, he's stronger than me, but in that ring, I am a dog and he can't handle me. At TLC, I'm gonna embarrass him. Whether it's with a table, a ladder, or a chair, I'm gonna embarrass him.
Dolph Ziggler with a super kick. What the hell does he have there? Handcuffs. And look at this. The men who carried Corbin out here on a sedan are ambushing Reigns. Reigns wrist shackled.
You call yourself the big dog.
Roman Reigns is defenseless, helpless. Reigns is cuffed to the post.
Is that what I think it is?
The big dog.
Corbin showering Reigns in dog food.
King Corbin promised humiliation.
This Sunday, I'm gonna make the big dog, little ankle biter, bow down to his king. Now I have seen that the big dog is coming here unchained. But if that glory hound does decide to show up, I have every door in this entire arena covered. And he'll just be showing up to a fate far worse than last week.
And here comes the big dog, unchained.
Roman like a man possessed.
And Ziggler with a super kick. Dolph Ziggler is setting up the ladder.
No.
Roman Reigns has got Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler puts on the table. The big dog returns with a vengeance. That could be the king come Sunday. Tables, ladders, chairs.
Unleash the dogs of war.
All right, Roman Reigns, always cool, calm, collected, kind of a quiet confidence, I would say. But King Corbin has taken him to levels of humiliation that I even have problems watching. Do you think we're going to see a side of Roman Reigns tonight that we haven't seen before?
I think most definitely. I mean, that was one of the most humiliating things
terrible.
I've seen, in a long, long time. And number one, the big guy is not the guy to play with. I think Roman Reigns, he might end Baron Corbin's career tonight.
Ooh.
That's what I think. It's going to be that bad.
I beg to differ. You know, we had King Corbin step backstage just last week, and I'm going to tell you, he's a very, very intelligent king. He's very calculating, and what he did to Roman Reigns last week shows exactly how far he's willing to go. My thing with Baron Corbin, we always talk about and think about, big men in the business. We think about, Big Show. We think about my big homie, Big Kevin Nash. But I tell you, Baron Corbin may go down as one of the best big men of this era. I'm talking about as far as working both sides of the fence, making these fans feel a certain way, as well as going out there in the middle of that ring and painting the Picasso that only so few of his size can do. So I'm going to tell you right now, Baron Corbin may surprise a whole lot of people tonight.
All right. Let's not forget.
I know that was very eloquent too, wasn't it?
It was.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Yeah. It was elegant and eloquent.
Eloquent. That's what I said.
I disagree with you though. This is a TLC match, man. I think Roman is going to leave him unrecognizable after tonight. I'm sorry to this man.
And for those fans who are not familiar, where have you been? Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Yeah.
Translation: anything is possible. We are just about set, and there you see it. The SmackDown Tag Team titles hanging high above the ring. Why? The very first match, the New Day, the Revival, the top guys. And the only way to win is to get on top of the ladder and grab those titles. TLC, it's not a holiday feel good, but you will start with a smile. The New Day kicks off the show. For everybody, happy holidays. Enjoy TLC.
Our story begins on the eve of the year's most magical occasion. Wait, where are we going? I wasn't done. The house was that way. Hello?
This holiday,
Who is that speaking?
believe in the magic
Oh my God. Quick, everyone, take shelter.
of TLC.
Merry Christmas!